Welcome back to my channel. Today we're gonna design a portfolio page inside of Elementor and we're gonna use real dynamic content, so real portfolio items to fill that page. And the methods that we're going to use is we're going to use a single page layout for all our portfolio pages. So last week I've created the custom fields with the popular plugin ACF. You can see it over here, custom fields. So I've created custom fields for my portfolio item. If you're new here, this is the portfolio item that we're gonna fill with dynamic content. So there is an image over here, there's a big image over here, there is some text in between, and there are more images over here. So let's just get started. What I've also prepared is portfolio items. So I have designed the preview little image over here, the big page that I want to show. So these are real portfolio items, real websites that I have created, and I've exported all those images and uploaded them inside of WordPress. So I'm going to show you what I did. It's over here in portfolio. So I've created 4 portfolio items already, so we can work with real dynamic content. So I will show you the inside of a portfolio item. There's a title, there's a subtitle, there's an image preview, there's text boxes, there are more images, more text boxes and more images. So that's what we're gonna work with. If you want to do this, you will need Elementor Pro, because within Elementor Pro you can create a single custom post template. So what is that? I'm gonna show you. Go to templates and we're going to go to the theme builder, and I'm going to click on single because this is a single template. We're going to click on add new. The data that we want inside of this template are only portfolio items, and this is popping up here because we have created it as a custom post type in the previous video, and I'm going to name it portfolio template, and I'm going to click on create template. I'm gonna start from scratch, so I'm gonna close this, and now I have a whole new page. But what I'm also gonna do is I'm gonna go to the dashboard and I'm gonna copy the style that I've already made on another page, because the design of my portfolio page, it has 3 columns, as you can see. Here are 3 columns. This is also a 3-column layout, but this is just a double column. So we're gonna use my about page that you can see right here that has a similar style, so I don't have to create everything from scratch. So I'm gonna go back to pages. I'm gonna open my about page inside of Elementor so I can copy some elements out of there. Alright, it's opened, and the first thing that I want is the upper section, because the first part that we're gonna design is this part. Alright, this is pretty easy. I'm just gonna copy this whole big section. I'm gonna go back to my new single page layout and I'm gonna paste it. Oh, that's not working because I've not set up my settings correctly. So go to settings and page layout. We need Elementor full width, because then we will get the header and the footer of the theme. And now, yes, now it should look good. And as we can see in my Adobe XD, this part now only has 2 columns. So that's what we're gonna do. We don't need this row, we only need 2 columns. So we can use this part. This is the title. So I'm gonna move that on top. And then we want the subtitle, which is actually just a little text. So you know what, I'm just gonna grab this and I'm gonna delete the normal text. So now we have a title and we have a subtext. And over here we want to have an image. So go to all the elements and go to image. And now we want to use a dynamic image, of course, one of our portfolio items. So how you're gonna do that is you're gonna click on dynamic, and you only have this feature if you have Elementor Pro. So click on dynamic, and in the last video we've made our ACF custom field. So click on the field, and now all the dynamic images of the portfolio pages are popping up right here. And we need the image preview because that's the upper image of the page. So as you can see now, the dynamic title of one of the portfolio pages is loading in. It's pretty cool. We're gonna do the same thing with the title. So click away over here, click on the title, and we're not gonna use my story. We're gonna use a dynamic title. And now we can just, I think we can just do the title, post title. And if I click on this, yes, so this is one of the titles. So let's go back I'm gonna show you what content Elementor is using now. It's using the content of one of my portfolio pages as a preview. So now we've loaded in this image preview. This is a dynamic field, and we've loaded in this main title. So now the only thing that we need to do to finish off this top section is also include the subtitle. So if we're gonna do this correctly, we're gonna see this popping up. All right, go back and now go to the subtitle, click on dynamic, and go to advanced custom fields, click on it again, and then we need the subtitle. And there it is. So everything works really cool. Now we need to style it a little bit. We don't need this wave because in my portfolio item, we don't have a wave, it's just flat. So I'm gonna click on the whole section, click on style, and it's one of the styles called shape divider. It's a bottom shape divider, and I just want to delete it, so I'm going to put it on none. And now I need to move it down. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on the whole section, click on layout, and I want the content of the page. I think I can do it up here. Content position bottom. Yes, now it's at the bottom, but it's not entirely at the bottom because I probably have a padding at the bottom. Yes, so if we're going to delete this, now it's at the bottom. This looks good. Now we also want some space up here. So that's where we're gonna add within this column. So go to advanced and then add a padding because that's the inside of the element. Unlink this and add, for example, 40 or 60, something like this. That looks good. Now make it a little shorter on the top. So maybe something like this. Yeah, you know what? I think this is good for now. And the last thing that I want to show you for the design of this page is this big image, because it's just the same technique that I'm going to use for the other parts over here. So let's just add an image, but if we're going to drag an image inside of here, it's going to try to end up somewhere inside of this. Oh, I can put it over here. Yes, that's what I want. So here's where the image should be. We're going to go to dynamic, go to image, custom fields, and then use the big image because we need the big image over here. And as we can see right now, this looks good. The whole dynamic image is loading in. So now I'm just gonna add a shadow, go to style, go to box shadow, increase the blur, increase the vertical, and now it starts floating, but it's way too much. So I'm gonna reduce the opacity to something like this. That looks good. I'm also gonna add a lot of padding to the bottom because otherwise it's gonna look messy. So maybe 80 or even 100. So there's enough space on the bottom of this item. Okay, so I changed also this title and now my image is small. I don't know why. Maybe because this one is not at full size. Okay, that fixed it, I guess. I'm not gonna change the parts over here because it's just the same technique as I used before. So we're gonna publish it and we're gonna see if it worked. So we're gonna click on publish, and now Elementor already knows that we want it for normal portfolio items and for all of our portfolio items. So we're gonna click on save and close. And if we're gonna click on have a look, then now we're gonna get an example of one of our portfolio pages. And this is dynamic content, guys. This is really cool. So now we're gonna look if the other portfolio items also turned out great. So I'm gonna go back to my portfolio items over here inside of WordPress. And now I'm gonna open another item. So I'm gonna click on view. And now, as you can see, it worked. So every portfolio item that I'm gonna add to this list is always gonna get the design that we have just created with this single portfolio list. Oh, this is really cool. And the beautiful thing about this technique is that if I'm gonna change something in my portfolio template, so for example, I actually want this item to be aligned to the right as I have here in my design. Now I can just change the template. So I'm gonna go back to my template. I'm gonna click on the image. I'm gonna click on align right. And if I click on update, it's not only gonna update on this portfolio item, as we can see in this preview. Now it's aligned right, but also on all our other portfolio items. So I'm going to refresh this and you're going to see that this one is now aligned at the right. I mean, this is great. This is great. So now you know how you can design and actually build dynamic pages inside of WordPress to create your own portfolio or to create a blog. It's the same for a blog post. The only thing you're gonna change is the conditions. So you're gonna say this layout with those dynamic fields do apply for this custom post type. And that's it. Alright, so now I can almost use this website to attract real clients and get more clients into my business. So that's going to be really exciting. If you have any questions, please let me know in the comments and I will see you next week.